Yeah, we didn't have 3 homicides.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Sorry.
Are they supposed to come in threes?
Well, it says 3 on the report. So that's where I saw the same thing. I didn't know if it was just a mix-up or if somebody snuck by or two people snuck by, I guess.
I only heard about one, so I don't
Yes.
know about the other 2.
Pretty sure.
He might pop in here pretty soon. We can ask him then. Okay. You're up.
All right. We are on the second reading of ordinance number 2022-01, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the village of Antwerp to enter into delinquent debt collection agreement between the Ohio Attorney General and the village of Antwerp.
And if you noticed in your council package, you now have a copy of those rules. I know Bryce, you had some questions about that last month. That should have that information about how long each step of the process, which step, how long they take to try to collect, and then they move on to the next step. So,
Yes, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
That's the second reading.
We are reading for the second time ordinance number 2022-03. An ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $4,173 from the general fund to the severance pay reserve fund. Just a heads up on this, there's not enough cash in there right now for this, but we're supposed to receive our property tax check in February. If for some reason that would get delayed, we will have to have a special meeting in the month of February to do a third reading on this transfer.
When will you know by?
She said she hoped to cut the check by the end of this week, but Monday's a holiday. She would mail them the week of the 22nd, but I told her not to mail mine. I would drive over and get it. So we should be fine, unless something happens over there that they can't do it. Second reading of ordinance number 2022-05, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to enter into second addendum to the agreement for collection, transportation, and disposal of residential solid waste within the corporate limits of the village of Antwerp, Ohio. Second reading, ordinance number 2022-06, an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $7,500 from the general fund to the street lighting fund. I'm sorry, this is the one that I should have said that on. This is the one we need the auditor's check for. I'm gonna skip the emergency and go to the second reading of resolution 2022-01. Resolution of necessity to levy a tax that is a renewal of an existing levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire protection and emergency medical services. Now I'll go back to the emergency reading. This is emergency reading, ordinance 2022-07, an ordinance approving, adopting, and enacting American Legal Publishing's Ohio Basic Code 2022 edition as the code of ordinances for the village of Antwerp, Ohio, and declaring the same an emergency.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules.
I'll second.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
And this is an emergency because our rules are based on this, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what the police cite too, and then there's a whole section on traffic
We were hoping
rules.
we'd had it last meeting.
We didn't have.
And we didn't get it until about a week and a half ago. But with the weather, we were gonna try to do a special meeting last week. I think it came like what?
It came on Tuesday or Wednesday in the snowstorm.
And we knew the snowstorm was coming.
The
so
same
we-
day as the snowstorm.
Same day as the snowstorm, and then we were less than a week away from tonight, so we're like, we'll pass it tonight as an emergency. So great timing, as usual.
I still
So you
need,
got the,
I got the motion to suspend the rules, now I need a motion to pass.
I would make that motion.
I'll second.
Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yeah.
Dean Reister,
yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
We don't need to do this.
Do we need to sign that?
No, just
Okay.
Jan and I.
Okay.
Emergency reading for ordinance number 2022-08, An ordinance repealing ordinance number 2020-07, an ordinance amending section 1 of ordinance number 2012-18, establishing a reasonable method to provide notice of the time and place of regularly scheduled meetings and time, place, and purpose of special and emergency meetings for the village of Antwerp, Ohio, and declaring the same an emergency.
So the next three ordinances are a little bit related to one another. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. When we were discussing last month how notice of meetings was provided to the public, we had established back in 2012, Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22F provides that you can establish a reasonable method to notify the public of your meetings and the schedule of those. So in 2012-18 is the ordinance where that reasonable method was established, and it was our website. And then in 2020-07, we tried to update that because our website had been updated, but now have discovered it doesn't go to the right link because Bryce pointed that out to us last month. So the three ordinances we're doing, we're repealing the 2020-07 because that is the wrong link to our website where we provide the notices. We're repealing it. That's what this one does. And then the next ordinance, I'm going to talk to them in conjunction with one another, even though Amy will read them separately. The next one then amends ordinance 2012-18 to give the right email address, so it takes you to the correct link where the meeting notices are provided. And then the next ordinance updates our ordinance from last year when we set the schedule for this year of council meetings to be able to reference the 2012-18 plus this new ordinance 2022-09 that has the correct website link. I know, it is super confusing, but it gives it the right then website address where the meeting notices are posted. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this.
Okay, I want to ask some questions then. What about 712 that says it has to be published in the newspaper?
But you have to go then to 121.22F, that then where they set up in the sunshine laws ordinance that says you can establish a reasonable method on posting your notices, and you do not have to post those in a newspaper.
You do not? It
Do
does,
not.
Do not have.
You
What
can
was that again?
establish a reasonable method, 121.22 subsection F.
121 dot.
22
Yeah.
subsection F.
Okay.
Are you talking about the regular ones or are you talking about the special?
Well, even the special ones, like today's meeting
It's
Was-
regular.
was regular, but we published it
There's one more.
that it would be on Mondays. That's what you had said, that you had published it ahead of time, the third Monday of every month.
And in there's a note with it that says, except in January, February, and June, it'll fall on
Okay.
the third Wednesday of the month. It's right there in the
Okay.
ad.
Okay.
And it has, you did the ads all the years before and it was always done correctly.
Okay. So that's just the one that was part of the regular notices.
At the beginning of the year, as
Okay.
soon as we get it established and it's approved,
Okay.
we do a public notice in what has always been your paper
Mhm.
until this year. And in it, it lets you know that the annual report is available, and then it sets the schedule for the entire
Okay.
year of general meetings.
Okay.
And
I
that,
just want to
and
make
that
sure.
is according to the 121.22. But the
Mhm.
special meetings and the committee meetings,
It's all the same.
okay.
It's all the
Mhm.
same. It all is to that website. That's our reasonable method of notifying of any public meeting.
Mhm.
That's the committee meetings, special council meetings, regular meetings. That's what's established by ordinance number 2012-18 is to post them on the website. Again, we are correcting that
Mhm.
link,
Mhm.
and that's the need to change
Okay.
the 2020-07.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So that's why
that
there's
we're
three
good.
of them. It's correcting all of
Mhm.
that. So I know it is confusing. So that's why I wanted to kind of give that overview.
I will continue to publish the general schedule in the
Yeah.
beginning of the year with our annual report,
Mhm.
just because it's there.
Yeah, in the annual report is
The
where it's
annual
at, right?
No, it's a public
When it's
notice
published.
announcing that the
Yeah.
annual report is available if anybody wants it.
Right.
And then also, here's our meeting schedule for 2022,
Okay. Okay.
for general meetings.
Yep.
So
Not
the
committee.
first ordinance, which Amy has already read, the
Mhm.
Untitled to that ordinance, the 2022-08, that is the one, we're doing it first because it gets rid of the 2020-07 that had the wrong website address. So
Mhm.
that's why we're doing that one first. So we would need that passed as an emergency measure. And she obviously needs to read 2022-09 when we get to it. That's where we'll amend section 1 to put the correct website address. And then 2022-10 corrects 2021-22 to reference the right ordinances
Okay.
on the reasonable method. So,
Okay,
sorry it's such a mess, but this should correct it. And we've already done the ordinance for 2023 meetings to make sure that we have everything corrected. So we don't forget that we did this in February when we start this in October, so.
right. Okay,
So we just need a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance number 2022-08.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
And a motion to approve.
Need a motion to accept.
Second.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yeah,
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Dean Reister.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something.
Ordinance number 2022-09. This is also an emergency, an ordinance amending section 1 of ordinance number 2012-18, establishing a reasonable method to provide notice of the time and place of regularly scheduled meetings and time, place, and purpose of special and emergency meetings for the village of Antwerp, Ohio, and declaring the same an emergency.
So we just need a motion to suspend?
Yes.
Okay, I'll motion to suspend.
I'll second.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
we have verified that the URL works, right?
Yes.
Just
I
to make
tried
sure.
it and so did
Yeah,
Amy.
but you
But if you want to double check,
Just say,
that'd be
before we
perfect,
do
but-
all this,
yeah,
it is right,
Her
right?
and I both
Okay.
did it. And it does take you right to the calendar. And you
Okay.
can then click on, when you're on the calendar, you can actually click on that,
Mhm.
whatever meeting it says, and then it takes you to the description.
Okay,
So I've tested it, Amy tested it, obviously.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
Now you motion to pass.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
yes.
Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
And ordinance number, 2022-10, an ordinance amending section 3 of ordinance number 2021-22, an ordinance to establish a time and place of regular meetings of the council of the village of Antwerp, Paulding County, Ohio, for calendar year 2022 and declaring the same an emergency.
Okay, I'll make a motion to
Here's yours.
I'll second.
suspend the rules.
That was Kenny, seconded by Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
and Bryce Steiner.
Yeah,
Need a motion to pass.
I'll make a motion to pass.
I'll second.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
and Bryce Steiner.
yes.
That's that one. Now we are on the first reading of ordinance number 2022-11, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into contract with Crane Township for providing emergency medical services in calendar years 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. And that's the first reading.
Any discussion before we go on to the next one?
Does it raise the cost to Carryall Township? Is that what it's doing, or is it just a renewal?
That was Crane, and
I mean,
that,
Crane, sorry.
that one,
You
I
read
have
the-
my cheat
You
sheet
read the
somewhere.
base a little bit.
that one increases. I think it was it 3%?
In like a year and was it 2 years?
Yeah, we kept it the same in 23 and 24, raised it in 20,
I have that cheat
5.
sheet.
And it's,
and it stays in 26 as what it is in 25.
So we don't have like an annual increase of like 3% to
No,
account
it's
for?
based on her runs
Okay.
and what
this
they
is the
do.
first time it's actually ever increased since I've been,
Oh, okay.
so.
Just like to cover our cost and make sure.
Yeah,
the village taxpayers aren't bearing that burden for the township.
This is just a continuation of what we've done for years.
Yes.
So that's gonna-
Okay.
these
And
are
she still bills the customers, I mean, the
Yeah, all the
patients.
patients still get billed, but it's just increasing, it increases it in 2025 for them.
That's what I said.
Cause it has not,
Do you want
it has not
letters?
increased at all, and we're seeing a little bit of a rising cost and
On Harrison.
stuff,
Everything.
so,
Fuel.
equipment and everything, so,
Transportation and
yeah.
The next one is ordinance 2022-12, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into a contract with Harrison Township for providing emergency medical services in calendar years 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. This is not increased. This is the same as it is now. We have a very small section of Harrison Township in our fire and EMS area.
so this is not like a reciprocal relationship that if they have to come here, we go there. This is not for, it's just for a small section, not,
Right, 20% of
Okay.
their,
okay,
we cover about 20% of their township.
okay.
This is the first reading of ordinance number 2022-13, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into a contract with Carryall Township for providing emergency medical services in calendar years 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. This is a levy, so we get what is paid in on-property taxes for their medical, for their EMS. It's a levy in Carryall Township, not the village. Village has one too, but. Last one is ordinance number 2022-14. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor and the fiscal officer to enter into contract with Harrison Township for providing fire protection services in calendar years 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026. And that does go up every year, about 3%.
How do we charge for fire runs?
We don't.
We don't.
Taxes,
Okay, taxes, okay.
And these are all things we've been doing, right? Okay.
yeah, if it's a hazmat situation, EMA takes care of that on his end
Mhm.
with the insurance companies and stuff, and then we get that.
The next thing is the reader report. I brought in, or the village brought in $26,988.83 in February for January taxes, which is down about $6,000 from last year during the same month, but we're still up $3,748.94 from the 2 months, January and February, collected this year compared to last year. And last but not least, the website for the Iris Alert currently has 74 users signed up on it as of this morning. Tell your friends that live in town. I sent a text message to lots of contacts and said, don't forget to sign up. They can call in and talk to me or April, and we can give them their account numbers if they don't have their bill. But we've actually sent 2 alerts. I don't know if you've all signed up and you've got them, but it's really nice. I like it.
It worked for Gail really well, cause she was gonna go to Fort Wayne and she was kinda got distracted in the morning and she was running a little bit late, and then I had signed her up for the Iris Alert. And when the Iris Alert come in, she was like, oh crap, I better get my shower in now. It got her moving early instead of getting
using
caught
it as
without
an
one.
alarm.
Well,
Are
it
you
worked
guys-
because she didn't know what her, she was on an open schedule and just
Oh,
kinda set her
She was gonna
schedule,
get
'cause
shut off.
she didn't know how
Oh,
long she had
okay.
to get
Oh,
her
I
a shower,
see.
so it
I
motivated her
see.
to get moving right away.
Yeah.
Have Amy send out some ones when you need her to.
I told her,
Good morning, it's time to get up.
Bryce, I did tell her that. I was gonna have Amy send her.
Shower
How
now
many did we
with
have
no water.
last month? At this
No.
point?
None.
They were
Yeah,
okay.
it was just like me and Brian and April
Just a couple.
testing it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's spreading.
back
And
in
honestly, I mean, like on the 74, like Ashley, for instance, I mean, like she could have, like, she has a bunch of rentals. So she has like her rentals, she's got where she shares it. So, I mean, we may be hitting more than the actual 74 people. She's got the gun shop, she's got
I was
her
gonna say, I
house.
put me and Matt on it, so.
So you're getting multiple locations on some of these.
And I asked Amy to track that at the last council meeting, and that's why she gave us the.
Yeah, no, that's good enough. I just didn't remember it. I knew we had a couple last time. I just didn't know if it was like 10, 15, or 5. So that's cool. It's going well.
Yeah.
70 in a month is.
And we'll see what it is next month.
Yeah. like I said,
So
share.
your friend?
Yeah.
How many
And-
billings do we send out?
There's about 750,
So we have 10% of our bills signed up.
yeah.
Okay, so,
And I'm sure some people aren't gonna want it, just cause that's just, some people don't, but, I like, when I posted the water shut off on Madison while they were fixing the fire suppression the other day, I did a reminder, hey, don't forget, we have this alert system, please, now's a great time to go on, so you know if your water's getting shut off, so, you know, Steve's another one, he's got Pam who owns the shop, and then at home, so that's hitting too, cause that's counting your
and you're only
business.
gonna sign up once.
You can sign up
Well,
twice if you have to, but you're only gonna do one.
Yeah, as you say.
Yeah, so there's gonna be ones that have duplicates that we're not gonna hit, so. The thing is we pay for this. We can use it as many times as we want in a year, but we pay by the customer, and we just guessed when we did the 800. So in October, November, when we go to renew it this year, we can maybe limit that down to 500 and not pay as much.
Do they tell you how many devices have signed up?
Yeah.
So we've had 70 accounts, but we could have
Oh, yeah,
more
there's like
devices.
120, I think,
Okay,
that are devices. Yeah,
Mhm.
it shows me that too.
okay.
Yeah, might wanna count it, think about it.
Okay, let's go back up to the police report. George is here. Anybody have any questions for George?
We didn't have 2 additional homicides last month, did we? It says 3 on the report, so.
It's probably because there was 3 reports generated. One would have been Damien's, one Victoria's, and one mine.
Okay,
They
okay.
would have all been referred to that.
Oh, because it's the number of calls,
Just the total.
not number of,
No, yeah, well, I didn't think I missed anything, but you never know.
He has been very busy.
Yes.
I've been extremely busy.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate it.
George and Victoria have put in a lot of hours on this. Unreal.
Yep.
And still working on it.
Well, we appreciate you.
Absolutely do.
A lot goes on behind the scenes that we never even dream of when it comes to something like that.
I'm sure.
Okay. Your EMS report is in here. Does everybody have a chance to look at that?
Looks like you've been busy too, Ashley,
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. Multiple times a day.
Well, hopefully you don't have to come to my house anymore.
Good to know they're there though,
It
right?
was.
Yeah. Thank you very much
Quickly.
too for your work. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that's for sure. I could attest to that several times.
Yeah, I think you've been in my house once or twice before. Steve.
Still up, right?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Just don't
Okay.
make a habit of it.
Right.
We gotta keep our taxpayers alive.
Yeah, there you go.
who's that? Oh, Brian Davis, no.
I didn't think so.
We just, you wouldn't show him in attendance.
Attendance.
Okay. Have you all gone over your administrator's report?
Administrator is spelled wrong for the second month in a row.
I don't create that. Brian creates that himself.
You've been a starter.
That's what happens when you proofread everything.
Maybe he's retitled himself.
Starting projects.
Starting.
You've been a starter.
He's got a lot of irons in the
like it.
fire, that's for sure. I like it
And then
too.
a starter's more appropriate.
I should change it on my agenda then.
He does that for recognition.
He's home watching right now, I'm
Right.
sure.
Yeah, he is. He is.
As far as our building inspector, what's, have we gotten anywhere with that?
It's kind of under Brian's
Yeah.
guide,
Yeah.
since he's the one that
So I just didn't
contracts
know.
with them.
He just put it on there, he did resign, so I don't know if there's anybody, I had talked to him just a little bit about running an ad and stuff, but we never really got very far with that.
Yeah.
I think the question was is if someone has to be certified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know that Bruce was at one time and then he
Yeah.
wasn't. I know we do have in our independent contractor agreement, which I don't have with me, Something about if required to perform their duties, having the proper licensure. So, I mean, that's something, you know, Brian and I can discuss what is necessary, if anything, to do what's required under the ordinance for the minimum housing standards. But Bruce Essex, I think, did have it at one time.
Yeah, I
just
thought
don't
he was
know, I can't
certified.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just, I just can't remember
Because I
exactly what all
don't
that
personally
meant.
know anybody that does
I
this
don't know either.
in the field.
And I know that we had talked at one time before we had Mr. Essex, was maybe using another municipality's building inspector, like,
Mhm.
if it is just a independent contractor basis, because then obviously
That's a good thing.
obviously they have the qualifications, so.
Yeah.
That would be the easy way.
Yeah.
Even if it's for temporary.
Right. And I wouldn't think that we use them very often, I
Yeah, I
could be
don't-
wrong, but.
No, I don't think we did.
No, so, I know we had the one property here on River Street,
Mhm.
right, River
Yeah.
Street. That we used somebody and that obviously worked out well, that process. So I mean, that might be an option, is maybe looking at some other
That's a good thing.
political subdivisions, their building inspectors, and see if we could use them on a contracted basis.
Okay.
From the financial side, quick question on that, would we have to insure him too?
We
Or would he
don't,
be-
the only thing we insure for our building inspector is the errors and omission policy. That's all we do under our independent contractor.
$1,000 a year.
Is that the errors and emissions. So that is one thing under the independent contractor. They're supposed to have, you know, obviously their own auto insurance and things like that if they're driving to different properties. And we do not cover them obviously for workers' compensation or anything like that because they are not employees. They're truly an independent contractor. But we do provide their errors and emissions insurance. So that is the one cost to us. And then obviously the work they do, we pay them on an hourly basis, or it's per inspection and per re-inspection.
Mhm.
So.
We've got an ordinance on that, don't we?
We have an ordinance on the minimum housing standards that the building inspector is supposed to enforce, and then we have a separate ordinance.
It was an ordinance with a contract with.
Well, I
Bruce,
think
wasn't
what
it?
we did is we did an ordinance to amend our independent contractor agreement.
Okay, we have an agreement with
Mhm.
him, okay.
So I don't know if we actually did an ordinance to give Brian authority to enter into a new independent contractor agreement. What we did is we amended the agreement we had to allow for a separate fee for that reinspection. That's all we did.
Okay.
So I think we have a form of agreement we approved, but I don't think, I mean, it's under Brian's authority as the central purchasing, since it's less than $50,000 or what we pay to a building inspector, he has the authority to just enter into the contract without approval of council.
So we're just kind of waiting for Brian to see if he can find
Mhm.
somebody.
Right.
I guess if anybody knows of anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offer
Or
Mr.
knows of
Davis some
other-
suggestions.
Yeah, or know of other political subdivisions that maybe contract with one and then they could cover us as
Yeah,
well.
that's a good idea.
So,
I'm looking for my note. He gave us a specific date, didn't he? That Essex was quitting.
oh, I don't know, I just
Okay.
found out
Well,
today
I
when
thought
I
it
looked
was,
at my council
I
packet.
thought it was
so-
soon.
Well,
so-
he has to give 30 days. I think the independent
Mhm.
Yeah, he
contractor
gave a
agreement, there's a
30
30 days
Yeah.
notice provision, so
Yeah.
I don't know when that period started.
We had just renewed his contract.
Well, we
Didn't
had
we?
just
Wasn't-
amended his
amended it?
contract
Okay.
to provide for a reinspection fee.
Okay,
So, but it has a 30-day
okay.
termination
Yeah.
by either party. And obviously, if we don't have somebody in that 90 day, or 30 days, sorry, I don't know if there's an emergency just to find somebody. I mean, it's obviously we need them when we need them, but I don't know that there's anything going on right now that we have to have somebody, but obviously you don't want to wait too long.
Right.
Right.
But,
Right.
We want to fill the spot as quickly as we can reasonably. We don't want to make it such an emergency that somebody's going to be like, well, they really need somebody pretty bad, so
right,
my fees go up.
Right.
Right. But I would think by the March meeting, I mean, that would be reasonable to have somebody maybe by then.
Okay, did we have any committee reports this month? Nothing? Okay. Do we have any new business to discuss?
We had a zoning meeting on February 9th. I think you had that in there.
Committee.
And then we have another one come up on March 9th. The zoning meeting.
What do you mean I had what?
Well, I think you had that in the,
Advertised?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're not giving any update or anything on it?
no.
Okay.
No, we're still.
And then the date was March what?
9th,
We'll get it publicized.
yeah. We're still working on.
Time?
6:15.
6:15, I believe.
Isn't that right?
I think 6:15.
Yeah, 6:15,
That's at Town Hall.
up here.
Okay. Old business?
I don't know, Mayor, if this falls under new or old business, but last month Dean told me to bring something back if I got anything from the Ohio Ethics Commission. Is that something to discuss now? Yes?
Okay.
Okay. Pass those around. This is what Kristen Cly sent me because I talked with her at the Ohio Ethics Commission, and she gave me an example of a ruling they just did in 2020. And I thought it was very interesting because of what they said in it. As far as being able to, for a person on council or in town to do work for pay for the village, it's obviously no, which is what we knew before, but they gave exceptions in here. And so this is why I want to bring this up. It is on page 3. It says, and I have them highlighted here, RC 292142 subsection A3 prohibits you from occupying a position of profit in the award of any village contracts that are not competitively bid and awarded. And as we go through here, they said basically, if it is competitive bidding and you did not go through, and you are not part of this process, which of course, why would you be? Because that would be a clear ethics violation. That it is okay on here. So I went through and highlighted it, and I don't think it's probably anything that obviously could be decided tonight, but I have it here for everybody to read, because I think this is very important. If the village awarded the contract through a competitive bidding process and the general contractor submitted the lowest best bid, the prohibition does not apply. Okay. Huh?
But we don't bid it.
That's why I think our stuff should be bid out.
Doesn't Ohio Revised Code say we don't bid unless it's over a certain dollar
It's
amount?
That's
$7,
under
isn't it?
Brian's authority, 50,000.
Right, that's not this. I think we should be bidding lots of stuff, because if Dean can save money by doing electrical stuff in his company, puts in and saves the village several $1,000s, I would be just fine with saying yes. I mean, of course, he couldn't be a part of the process, but going through here, there's actually several rules, and the other rule is, the exception to it is, if they had been doing business prior to being elected, it could continue, as long as they were not part of that bidding process. But that is in here. I don't want to waste everybody's time in the meeting.
And I'll take a look at this. I know
That's exactly
the
right.
facts are a little different because it's actually purchasing supplies where you do have to competitively bid, where we don't have to competitively
Right.
bid for what is deemed a newspaper general circulation in the county. That's the only requirements. That is a factual distinction, but obviously I need to read through all of this. This is my first time seeing this, so I'm happy to do that.
Right.
I know
I have her
council
phone
can
number
look at
too,
it,
if you
too.
want it.
I'm sorry,
I
no,
have-
I'd rather just read through
Okay.
it
Okay.
first, and then if I need that, I will let you know.
Okay, yeah, but it goes on, I gave a secondary page. The last page is actually the secondary page of summary too, on it. But I thought it was very good, because I think that down the road, if Antwerp wants to grow, we need to expect business people, to be able to get involved on council without fear of repercussions at all, financially at all. Because I really think if we can save our taxpayer money, we're gonna be a lot better off. But anyhow, I just want to present that for today and let people review it, because I think we could actually do some good things with our local taxpayers. And not just because West Bend is a local taxpayer, but because I want to encourage more people who have a business onto the council, because that's what's going to make this town grow.
Okay, well, Mel said she'll look it over and everybody's got a copy. We all have a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Anyway, that's my report, so.
Okay. Is that all for old business? Okay, the mayor's report. For our mayor's court, the total that went to the village, $1,019. We sent $225 to the state. For the indigent driver was $9, and it's a grand total of $1,253. And we needed to appoint a new member to our Board of Zoning Appeals because Jason was on it, but now being on council, he has to be replaced.
So it is an incompatible position. There's actually an opinion on that that says a member of council can't be on the Board of Zoning Appeals. The mayor can, but a council member can't for whatever reason, but we did check it to make sure. So section 406 of the zoning ordinance says vacancies shall be filled by appointment by the mayor with the consent of village council for the unexpired term of the member affected. So the mayor appoints whoever it is to fill the vacancy, but then council has to consent or approve it. So I'll let the mayor tell you who she wants to appoint, and then if you all want to agree to that and do a motion to consent to that appointment, that's what we need to follow the process.
I made a lot of phone calls on this. There's a lot of people that don't want to get involved.
No wonder why.
Yeah, and Board of Appeals isn't a popular seat.
It can be a tough one.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure, actually. How long is the term? I don't think there was any.
Whatever we can get you suckered in for.
It is set terms, so that's why I don't have it with me.
This
It's a
one-
staggered
yeah.
term that each
Um,
person
Jason's
serves.
saying
Jason's,
2024.
well, his time should have been up in 23.
So this is his, he
I
just
never
needed
had any
filled for this
information
year.
on
that.
Okay.
Look out of that one.
And my recommendation is Tom Van Valeer. He shows an interest in the village and was willing to do it.
Have you offered it to him?
Yes.
Okay,
I've
and he
spoken
accepted
to
it,
him,
you're
yes.
willing? Okay. Do we need to vote on that? Because I'd be willing to
We
say,
need
We
council
need a
approval.
motion by council to consent to the appointment of Tom Van Valera to fill the vacancy on
I'll make the
BZA.
motion to consent for Tom Van Valera,
I'll
and
second
your
that
opinion on that. So,
Did you second?
I'll second it.
Motion to consent to Tom Van Blair, what?
Filling the position, the vacant position on the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I got a motion from Bryce and Steve, seconded. Bryce Steiner,
yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Okay, so right now, our members on the zoning board of appeals is Jason Horman, Ben Gross, Keith West, Mike Roars, and Tom Van Blair. It's a
This is the
thankless
planning
job, isn't
commission,
it,
right?
Jason?
It's a
It's
tough
Board of
job.
Zoning
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
In,
okay.
in a lot of those cases, you're the last line of defense for something that could get built or moved or,
Right.
anything that, is against an ordinance. They could approve something that is not good.
Mhm.
So it's important.
Okay,
Done deal.
and that's it. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It was Bryce and
Jason?
Jason. Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Jason, you're not
A lot of
me.
stuff.
I already know my name.
Yeah.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.